the House. So the bells will ring, and at the time business was suspended, the House was considering question 148, which came from Milanzi, Member of Parliament, and this was directed to the Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development, and it was the acting minister who was responding to this question. So when business resumes, the member for Milanzi constituency, this is Ms. Piri, who continues seeking clarity from the minister by posing a follow-up question.
Another question is expected to come from Pika, Member of Parliament, Mr. Francis Kapyanga, and he's directing his question to the Minister of Tourism. He wants to find out whether the government has any plans to construct an electric fence around Navwalia Chiefdom in Pika district to mitigate human-animal conflict. If so, when the plans will be implemented, and if there are no such plans, why?
Mkobwa, Member of Parliament, Mr. Mwambazi, will ask the Minister of Community Development and Social Services whether the government has any plans to reopen the Kangonga Production Center for persons with disabilities in Mkobwa Parliamentary constituency. If so, when the plans will be implemented, what the cost of reopening the center is, and what the status of the workshops at the center was as of April 2024. Question 152 will come from Kalaba Central Member of Parliament, Mr. Miyutu, directing his question to the Minister of Finance and National Planning, what the rationale for mopping up utilized funds allocated to government institutions in each financial year is, whether the exercise has any negative effects on public service delivery, if so, what the effects are. And the last part of the question, what measures are being taken to ensure that the allocated funds are utilized within...
Order, honorable members, order. When the business was suspended, the House was considering question number 148 on the order paper asked by the honorable member for Milanzi. And the honorable member was asking a supplementary question. May the honorable member continue.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, the development of Katete Chanida Road by Luntembwe has no impact on the operations on Katete Chadiza Road via Kampambe. Why? Because the road is not directly linked to Katete Chadiza Road via Kampambe. So there are no benefits to the road in question, which covers over 30 kilometers.
The Honorable Acting Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. RD has indicated that they will do 3 kilometers of access road, but given that it's 30 kilometers, perhaps the minister may have to engage RD. Thank you.
Perhaps the minister or the honorable member. Yes, the honorable member for Milanzi, please engage the honorable minister. The last will be from the honorable member for Kaumbwe. Honorable members that have indicated just now, we need to make progress. We have a lot of other work that is still pending. The honorable member for Kaumbwe.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, for this rare opportunity to ask a follow-up question on Katete Chadiza Road. The honorable member of Parliament for Milanzi would like to know, in the short term, what measures is government taking on that road, the Katete Chadiza via Kambimba, because 2 bridges have collapsed and 3 others are on the verge of collapse, even with on the onset of the rains. In short, the road is not motorable. So, in your answer, Minister, you have said the concessionaire, which is Lutembe Consulting Engineers, is doing the road Katete to Chanida, which is offering a solution rather as a short-term measure for the Katete Chadiza road. But the said road, as rightly put by the member of Parliament from Milanzi, has got no direct connection to the improvement of the Katete Chanida road. What measures in the interim, as you know, for now, we need to take fertilizer to Chadiza through the Katete Chanida road, through the Katete Chadiza road. We need to take fertilizer, we need to take, in short, agriculture inputs. What short measures is government taking place for that road? Thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Acting Minister for Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. We did indicate that there is 3 kilometers, and obviously the distance is longer. And in answering Part B of the same question, I had indicated that the plans will be implemented once the required funds have been secured from Treasury. So the delay is in securing the required funds. I thank you.
Thank you, honorable members. Let's make progress. The next question, honorable member for Dudumwezi.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Question number 149.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister Acting, Honorable Minister of Water, Development and Sanitation. Honorable members, please, honorable cabinet ministers, we need to make progress. Leader of, acting leader of government business in the House.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, Honorable Singombe asked government whether the government has any plans to undertake the following in Dudumwezi parliamentary constituency in 2024. A, construct dams, and 2, sink boreholes. B, if so, how many dams are earmarked for construction? And then C, how many boreholes are earmarked for sinking? Then D, how many boreholes will have solar-powered water pumps? And finally, if there are no such plans, the question is why? Madam Speaker, government responds as follows. Yes, government through the ministry has plans to construct dams and sink boreholes in Dudumwezi parliamentary constituency in 2024. These initiatives are aimed at improving access to water in the constituency. B, the ministry is constructing 2 dams in Dudumwezi constituency, Jongolo Dam and Motwe Wamuntu Dam. Jongolo Dam Jongolo Dam is said to be completed by 31st December 2024, while Mwitwa Wamuntu will be completed in 2025 after the rainy season. C, regarding boreholes, 2 key interventions are being implemented in Dudumwezi constituency. That is, rehabilitation of non-functional borehole. In October 2023, the ministry signed a contract with Sustainable Water Solution Company for a 12-month project to rehabilitate and maintain 15 non-functional boreholes across 15 sites in Dudumwezi. The sites are Mabeta, Jones Maplanga, Chitumbi, Sasa, Nsolo, Gonde P School, Dunuka P School, Chinkumbe Hanambe, Nachingoni, Sivalwa, Chilundu, Hamuka Sunka, and Simakanta. I'm pleased to report that all 15 boreholes have been fully rehabilitated and are fully operational. 2, drilling of new boreholes. The ministry, through the local authority and with support from the Constituency Development Fund, CDF, commenced a project in 2024 to drill and install 29 hand pump boreholes at various sites across Dundumwezi. So far, 9 boreholes have been completed and handed over to the communities. The remaining boreholes were drilled and will be equipped by 31st December 2024. For D, Madam Speaker, in terms of solar-powered water systems in Dundumwezi, the ministry has signed a 12-month contract in September, signed a 12-month contract in September 2023 with Mulasi Zambia Limited to upgrade one existing borehole at Mulyambela Clinic to a solar-powered piped water scheme. The progress of the piped water scheme stands at 40%, with completion expected by 31st December 2024. And finally, Madam Speaker, as indicated earlier, government has plans to construct dams and sink boreholes in Dundumwezi Parliamentary constituency in 2024. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. Supplementary questions. The Honorable Member for Dundumwezi.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much, and thank you very much, Honorable Minister or Acting Leader of Government Business for stepping in. Honorable Minister, I'm quite aware that there are 2 dams, actually there are 3 dams, one under CDF and 2 under central government. And the question was couched to invite government, not under CDF, to find out how many boreholes will government do. We've just heard this afternoon that there are 160 boreholes that government has planned to drill. Now, don't you think it's important to ensure that Dundumwezi taps into the 160 boreholes that are earmarked, because it is a drought-prone constituency? Don't you think of allocating few boreholes from the 160 while we are doing something from CDF to mitigate the drought situation? I thank you.
Thank you. The Acting Leader of Government Business.
Madam Speaker, what the Honourable Member is saying is non-contentious and I think makes a lot of sense. These 160 boreholes are being drilled to mitigate what we are seeing: human consumption, animal consumption, and for agricultural purposes. So I think what I would guide, Madam Speaker, is that the Honourable Member should see the responsible minister so that we can sit down and see if there is any allocation for Dundumwezi on the government-funded boreholes other than the CDF-funded boreholes. Let me say, other than the local government-funded boreholes. I thank you.
Thank you. The Honourable Member from Mbabala.
Yeah, thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for allowing the good people of Mbabala to do a follow-up question. Honourable Minister, thank you for the answer to the people of Dundumwezi, and we thank you for Jomboro Dam, which is at the edge of our 2 constituencies, Dundumwezi and Mbabala, in the Sinarungu area. Now, coming down, Dundumwezi is the leading producer of maize in this country, and many other products. Huge production from there, feeding this country. Is the Ministry of Water not thinking about supporting irrigation farming in Dundumwezi by putting another dam on the Munyeke River, which is bordering the 2 constituencies that are giants in production of maize in Choma and Karomo districts? I thank you.
Thank you. The Acting Leader of Government Business in the House.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Indeed, Madam Speaker, for a long time, Dundumwezi as a district, for those who might not know, has been leading in the country in terms of cereal maize production, which is greatly appreciated. No wonder I think the government is putting up these 2 dams, but what has been said about Munyeke River is a new item, a proposal, which I think cannot be thrown away. But let me also hasten say, Madam Speaker, that the people of Dundumwezi should also consider seriously the other program which is promoting irrigation at individual level. But I will definitely take this forward to the Honorable Minister when he comes back, that Munyeke River is available for exploiting. I thank you.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Dundumwezi.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, for giving me another opportunity to ask a question. Honorable Minister, we have this dam, Nanyemu Dam, which was constructed in the 80s. This dam requires rehabilitation.
Honorable Member for Lunte, I don't know how many times. We are all busy. We are going to fetch water. Please do not distract us. If you want to discuss, you can call the Honorable Member you want to discuss. Go outside and have a chat. But this idea of sitting in your chair and pointing and talking loudly, you are distracting me from following the questions. Please, why can't you listen for once? Huh? I don't know, really. You are lowering the dignity and decorum of the House. May the Honorable Member for Dundumwezi continue.
Thank you very much. As you've rightly indicated, that Jongoro Dam will be handed over. And I want to confirm, indeed, from the layman point of view, for me it is completed. But I know for technocrats, maybe it's not yet done. And we have this dam, Nanyem Dam. Nanyem Dam, Honorable Minister, still holds millions of liters of water, but it's almost collapsing. We have ZNS within the constituency. Wouldn't you assist us to ask ZNS to go to Nanyem Dam and assist us, since we have CDF money lying in our accounts, but it has been very difficult for us to bring in ZNS to this Nanyem Dam, which is assisting thousands of people and thousands of livestock in that area. Wouldn't you assist us to talk to ZNS to shift to that area immediately they finish the Jongoro Dam? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The acting leader of government business in the House.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I think that is another suggestion, very well received. Nanyema Dam, I've taken note, and definitely I will talk to the minister responsible accordingly. Madam Speaker, may I take this opportunity to inform members of this House that right now the government is very serious in rehabilitating water bodies. If you have got dams in your constituency which are idle because either they do not have the facility for supplying water to the farmers, or it is about to break down the way the Nanyem Dam is indicated to be, please let the necessary ministry know, the Ministry of Water and the Ministry of Agriculture. We are working together so that these dams can be rehabilitated. Madam Speaker, there are a lot of dams in this country, but they have no facility to provide water for irrigation to the small-scale farmer. So I'm encouraging the honorable members to take note of the water bodies in your area, the way honorable member for Dundumwezi is doing. Look at how many dams he's having fixed in his area. We should thank him for bringing this out to government. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Next question, the honorable member from Mpika.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question number 150.
The Honorable Minister of Tourism.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the Honorable Member for Mpika, Honorable Kapyanga, asked the Minister of Tourism whether government has any plans to construct an electric fence around Nabwalia Chiefdom to mitigate human-wildlife conflicts. In B, if so, when the plans will be implemented. And C, If there are no such plans, why? Madam Speaker, as we attempt to respond to this question, government does have plans to procure and construct solar electric fences in protected areas with higher incidences of human-wildlife conflicts, which we popularly know call as hotspots, including that of Nawalia Chiefdom. The second question, Madam Speaker, when will the plans be implemented? The House may wish to note that the procurement process to facilitate the implementation is underway as part of the drought response supplementary budget funds that have been allocated to the ministry. That said, Madam Speaker, question C falls off. I submit.
Thank you. Supplementary questions. The Honorable Member for Mpika.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker, for that question. Madam Speaker, since government does have the plans to electrify, rather to put up an electric fence in Nawalia Chiefdom to repel the animals that roam the communities, let me find out from the Honorable Minister of Tourism how many communities will government target in that exercise. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Tourism.
Madam Speaker, just as a way of supplementary information, so Nawalia Chiefdom, including that of Chiawa, as well as Livingstone, my constituency, have been allocated in excess of 2 million kwacha to fence off areas which we regard as a hotspots. And I just also want to preempt, Madam Speaker, that this exercise, as we are speaking right now, the electric fences, which is the kits, the sets and the kits, are actually en route to Mpika to be set up. Now, with regards to the number of communities themselves that will be fenced off, is based on the aspects of where we have prevalence in those particular areas, as opposed to the entire chiefdom, as it were. Madam Speaker, I submit.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Kampiso.
Thank you once again, Madam Speaker. Minister of Tourism, you've assured the Member of Parliament for Mpika that sections that are regarded as hotspots will be covered. From my recollection of the problem at hand, Honorable Minister, the matter at hand requires that beyond the hotspots, basically future consideration is made to cover all the other areas. Are you able to confirm if there are intentions to also consider other areas where there's huge potential for this crisis to occur, apart from those that the ministry has targeted? I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Tourism.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and thank you for that follow-up question. Most definitely, as a listening government, we will consider other areas which may be considered as future hotspots, as you rightly put it, but we should also be cognizant of the fact that some of these areas where people go to start to settle or indeed start to create farms may not be designated areas for farming. So as a ministry, we're targeting at those areas which have been officially or legally allocated to the people within those areas, and we will regard them as hotspots. But as you rightly mentioned, any other place which will be allocated for future use, change of land use, as you rightly put it, is some places where we'll be able to fence off as well. Madam Speaker, I submit.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chamasov.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, in my constituency, I think under the advice of our provincial minister, Honorable Peter Piri, which we are very grateful, Honorable Provincial Minister, we've started fencing one community called Mapamba using our CDF. Are you assuring through this August House that the government has instead opened up another window of financing so that the other remaining areas where we are supposed to fence, we can stop or reassign whatever we are thinking so that your ministry can come in and do the work. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Tourism.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, and thank you very much for that follow-up question. Madam Speaker, there are several ways of skinning a cat. And I was very delighted that Honourable Member of Parliament for Chama South was very ingenious as to using the CDF allocated to his constituency to fence off Mapamba area. And we all know that the resource envelope that government has at the moment, and indeed the ministry itself, is not sufficient enough to actually open up a particular window, as he's suggesting, for other hotspots to access that amount of money. So the more, the merrier. If other constituencies can access this facility through CDF, and if the funds are available within the ministry, we'll be able to go there. All we require is just a concerted effort to ensuring that our people's lives are safeguarded within these areas we call the hotspots. Madam Speaker, I submit.
Thank you. We need to make progress and catch up on the work. Next question, the Honorable Member for Bwana Mkubwa.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question number 151.
The Honorable Minister, Acting Minister of Community Development and Social Services.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Honorable members, Member of Parliament for Bwana Mkubwa constituency, has asked the Honorable Minister of Community Development and Social Services the following questions. In A, whether the government has any plans to reopen the Kangonga Production Center for the persons with disabilities in Bwana Mkubwa Parliamentary constituency. And in B, if so, when the plans will be implemented. In C, what the cost of opening the center is. And in D, what the status of the workshops at the center were as at April 2024. Our response, Madam Speaker, in A, if government has any plans to reopen the Kangonga Production Center for the persons with disabilities in Bwana Mkubwa, I wish to state that government through Zambia Agents for Persons with Disabilities has plans to reopen the Kangonga Production Center for persons with disabilities in Bwana Mkubwa Parliamentary constituency. And the agency has looked at various ways of revamping Kangonga Production Center, but due to limited finances, the process is still ongoing or has delayed. And all efforts include projects for maize production at other farm centers across the country whose revenue will be channeled towards making Kangonga productive. In B, when these plans will be implemented, Madam Speaker, the plans to revamp Kangonga Production Center are scheduled for the second quarter of 2025, second quarter. In C, with regards to what the cost of opening the center is, an estimated cost of 6,067,212 kwacha 96 kwacha. 6,067,212 96 ngwe is required to open the center, which can be broken down as follows. Number one, human resource is 1.6 million. This will be used to employ at least 20 personnel, of which 50% to be persons with disabilities. This provision is per 16-month cycle. Water reticulation has been allocated 267,812 kwacha 96 ngwe. This is for water reticulation inclusive of bore or drilling for the poultry houses. a type 4 tire cages at 7,950 kwacha each by 32, which is coming to 254,400, and the project will commence in a phased manner and expand to the other production houses at the center. Pullets at point of lay being paid at 145 kwacha each by 10,000, that's at 1,450,000. Vaccines, disinfectants at 180,000. Feed cost, layer mash, 1.4 million. Renovation of infrastructure, 300,000. Meter separation by ZESCO, 615,000. So the total comes to 6,067,212 kwacha 96 ngwe. The last question, as for the status of the workshop at the center, as at April 2024, I wish to inform the House that the workshops are non-operational and they are also being used mostly for storage of the old equipment and machinery and also other leftover materials from previous productions. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Supplementary questions. The Honorable Member for Bwana Mkubwa.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you, Minister, the Acting Minister of Community Development, for that very, very important update for the people of Bwana Mkubwa. Madam Speaker, I wish to thank the Ministry that they're implementing this program, second quarter of 2025. I just wanted to find out, Honorable Minister, that apart from what has been highlighted by the Ministry, the Center for the Physically Challenged colleagues used to do cane furnitures, used to do shining brushes, used to even make coffins from there, and a lot of these products, and they are the area office in town where they will sell their products. We do appreciate what the government is starting with, but our worry also as people of Kangonga from Bwana Mkubwa constituency is the status of the very important machines which were left. Is there any plans to work on the machines and from there now progress and start manufacturing some of those very, very important, because it will give them a continuous revenue, as it were, because there are also other people who are taken to that place to be trained in these various skills. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Acting Minister of Community Development and Social Services.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you very much, Honorable Member, for that follow-up question. As I indicated in my first response, that these works will be phased, and also looking at the amount, and also taking into account also that this is a place that was abandoned in 2012. The more reason some of us, when we are talking about generosity, I think people would have exhibited that generosity, taking care of such places, and the people are found there. This is where I would have been very okay if those that claim to be generous would have helped people like this. Nevertheless, this is a caring government, and we have taken an initiative that we are going to make sure that it is revived, and by second quarter of next year, it will be running. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Chinsali.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Minister, at least for having indicated that you have plans to revamp the operations of Kangonga Production Center. And thank you also for the comprehensive answer as regards the aspect of cost. Now, Madam Speaker, I would like to find out from the Honorable Minister. You have made a commitment that this production center is going to be revamped by mid next year. Has an allocation been put in the budget for next year to take care of this rehabilitation exercise? I ask because I don't remember seeing anything in the yellow book. Maybe you can just give a clarification if it is there. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Acting Minister of Community Development and Social Services.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. As regards to what Honorable Member for Chinsali is talking about, if he followed me very well in my response, I didn't also indicate that we are getting money from 2025 budget allocation. I said, and I repeat, that we have other production areas that will help, that will support the 6 million costs that we are talking about. That was my answer. So indeed, you cannot find this allocation, but because we still have other centers that we are going to get money from, so it will really help us revive the Kangonga production center. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Honorable Member for Bwana Mkubwa.
Thank you, Honorable Minister, for the answers you're providing, and our only hope as people of Bwana Mkubwa is to see that in the second quarter that project is revived and started. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. That was a comment. And looking at the time, honorable members, we are behind. So since it was a constituency-based question, please forgive me. We need to make progress. The next question, the honorable member for Kalabo Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Question number 152.
The Honorable Minister, Acting Minister of Finance and National Planning.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, the Honorable Minister for Kalabo, Honorable Miutu, is asking, the question is asking the Acting Minister of Finance and National Planning what the rationale for mopping up utilization funds allocated to government institutions in each financial year is. The question comes in 4 phases, and B says whether the exercise has any negative effect on public service delivery. C, if so, what the effects are. D, what measures are being taken to ensure that the allocated funds are utilized within the financial year. Madam Speaker, to respond to A, let me begin by saying that as part of good fiscal management, it is an established tradition globally that at the end of each fiscal year, for utilized government cash balances in commercial banks are mopped up to the central bank. This follows the principle that when Parliament approves the national budget, utilization of the appropriated funds is for a specified period of time, usually 1 year. Madam Speaker, the government recently directed that unutilized government balances in commercial banks should be transferred to the central bank as part of fiscal prudence. This is also part of coordinated efforts within the Bank of Zambia to manage liquidity levels in the system and reduce inflation. Madam Speaker, from the government side, Existence of unutilized funds creates the opportunity for banks to lend government its own money. Clearly, that is not the intention of the government and therefore against public interest. Excess liquidity in the domestic banking system can arise from unutilized government deposits in commercial banks. B. Madam Speaker, in responding to B, the mopping exercise is a cash management strategy by the government and has no effects on public service delivery. The mopped up funds are disbursed to the institutions as soon as certificate of works are presented to the Treasury. C, Madam Speaker, is not applicable given the answers I've given above. D, which is the last one, Madam Speaker. The Treasury requires each ministry, province and agencies, MPAs, to prepare and submit quarterly funding profiles and work plans on how they expect to undertake various activities within the financial year. The funding to ministries, provinces, and agencies, MPAs, are disbursed within the financial year according to the funding profiles submitted to the Treasury on a quarterly basis. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you. Supplementary questions. The Honorable Member for Kalabo Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Thank you, Honorable Minister, for the response. However, Honorable Minister, here is the situation. In your response, you mentioned that there's no negative effect. What would you rate, how would you classify this situation where contractors need to be paid, but there's no money in the council account to pay the contractors? Is that a positive position or a negative position? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. The Honorable Acting Minister of Finance and National Planning.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This question is actually well addressed in my statement. Madam Speaker, indeed, money may not be sitting in the respective accounts because of the mopping that we've spoken about. But because of adequate planning and foreseeing when completion periods are taking place, councils are advised, most importantly in constituency developments, to write and apply even 3 days before the time of completion is done. And within this 3 days period, money is always released at its available time. Madam Speaker, I submit.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Kalabo Central.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honorable Minister, I'm sure you are aware about the ineffectiveness or inefficiency which is surrounding local governments or the councils in Zambia. Owing to the fact that there's enormous inefficiency, what is the measure that the government is going to take to improve the working standards such that what you are mentioning here becomes applicable? Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Honorable Acting Minister of Finance and National Planning.
Madam Speaker, I feel privileged that I stand before you not only as Acting Minister of Finance, but also as Member of Parliament for a constituency. And I understand the frustration that my colleague, the Member of Parliament, is going through. It is the same thing that even myself in my constituency I used to go through. When this issue was raised or it was implemented, contractors could stop works because of delayed payments. It is imperative and very important that even as members of Parliament, we begin to interact, not only local government minister, we begin to interact with local authorities and explain to them why the timeless recording or request for payment from Ministry of Finance is important. Yes, in some councils. I am privileged, Madam Speaker, that in Chingola there is great improvement on the time of payment to the contractors because we are engaging each other and they are making requests to the Ministry of Finance to release funds through the Office of the Accountant General on a timeless basis. So Honorable Miutu and other colleagues, I would encourage all of you to also take it upon yourselves and be interacting with these councils, ourselves as leaders, so that they can represent the people that we are representing in a very timeless way. Madam Speaker, I submit.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, I see there is a lot of interest. We have less than 45 minutes within which to conclude the business, and we still have a lot of business on the order paper, so I'll make progress. Pardon me, please, for this. Notes of motion, the Honorable Member for Mwandi.
Madam Speaker, I beg to move that the House adopts a report of the Committee on National Economy, Trade and Labour Matters on the ratification of the Southern Africa Development Community SADC Protocol on Statistics for the 4th session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on the 7th of November 2024.
Is the motion seconded?
Yes, Madam Speaker, the people of Ron proudly second the motion.
Seconded by the Honorable Member for Ron. The question is that this House adopts the report of the Committee on National Economy, Trade and Labour Matters on the ratification of the Southern Africa Development Community Protocol on Statistics for the 4th session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 7th November 2024. Any debate? The Honorable Member for Mwandi.
Madam Speaker, in accordance with its terms of reference, as set out under Standing Orders 206J and 207F of the National Assembly of Zambia Standing Orders to 2024, the committee considered the international agreement on the SADC Protocol on Statistics. Madam Speaker, from the onset, let me state that the committee is in support of the proposal to ratify the agreement. Ratifying the SADC Protocol on Statistics will lead to better data collection methods and reporting practices in Zambia, thus positively impacting the Zambia Statistics Agency's core objective of improving data collection techniques to ensure quality and reliability of statistical information. Madam Speaker, this is of critical importance because it will provide policymakers, researchers, and other stakeholders with accurate and reliable information to inform decision making. Madam Speaker, ratifying the protocol will also enable Zambia to better align its national statistics strategies with regional and continental goals, potentially leading to improved socio-economic planning and development outcomes. Madam Speaker, as the committee reviewed the agreement, a number of issues came to the committee's attention. Based on the concerns raised by the committee, the committee has made its observations and recommendations, which are contained in the report. However, I will highlight a few key points. Madam Speaker, having interacted with various stakeholders, the committee observes with concern that there is limited staff capacity in relevant government departments and ministries on statistics. The committee also observes that the government is yet to effect the actualization of training 2,000 public officers in statistics between 2022 and 2026, as provided for in the 8th National Development Plan. Madam Speaker, in view of this, the committee urges the executive to prioritize the realization of capacity enhancement in all relevant public officers in statistics without delay, as failure to do so may affect Zambia's ability to meet certain objectives in the protocol. Madam Speaker, in line with the Statistics Act number 13 of 2018, the Zambia Statistics Agency was reconstituted and its functions defined to include, among others, the establishment of an integrated national statistical system and to provide the production and compilation of official statistics in a transparent and impartial manner. However, the committee observes that the agency has not fully reformed in line with the provisions of the Act. Madam Speaker, the committee therefore urges the executive to ensure that the agency is fully transformed in line with the Statistics Act number 13 of 2018 so that it is better able to reform its functions to meet the demands of the protocol once ratified. With regards to funding of ZAMSTATS, the committee observes that the agency is inadequately funded, going by what was provided in the estimates of revenue and expenditure for the year 1st January to 31st December 2025. The committee is of the view that if not addressed, this may affect the attainment of the objectives of the protocol. Specifically, that the agency coordinates the National Statistics Systems, NSS. The committee therefore strongly urges the executive to restructure the funding of the agency so that a separate head of expenditure is created, which shall only be exclusive to ZAMSTATS and have the allocation increased. Madam Speaker, allow me to conclude by stating that the committee supports the ratification of the international agreement on the SADC protocol statistics and urges the House to support the ratification. Finally, Madam Speaker, I wish to pay tribute to the witnesses who interacted with the committee for the valuable insights they provided, and gratitude also goes to you, Madam Speaker, and the Clerk of the National Assembly for the guidance and support rendered throughout its deliberations. Madam Speaker, I beg to move.
Thank you very much. The second letter.
Now, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, thank you very much for allowing me to second the motion. And I want to begin by thanking the mover of the motion in the able manner in which she has actually highlighted the critical issues that were by the committee. Speaker, will be very economical on time, especially that she has actually touched in all areas that the committee observed. And as such, I will just simply highlight two issues that she has not mentioned. And Madam Speaker, in seconding the motion, allow me to comment on a few committee's observations and recommendations, which, as I have said, the mover has not tackled. One, Madam Speaker, with regard to the harmonization of the existing laws and regulations on statistics, the committee, Madam Speaker, observed that the protocol, once ratified, will require harmonization, while the existing laws and regulations on statistics in the country. Madam Speaker, in this regard, the committee urges the executive to institute a review of the Statistics Act number 3 of 2018 and the Data Protection Act number 3 of 2021 so that they are harmonized with the protocol. Madam Speaker, the second one that I want to tackle is the concern to the committee that was raised on the payment of subscription. Madam Speaker, we realize that this protocol will tell that this country will be able to pay subscription fees and other fees, and as such, this will have a bearing on the national budget. Therefore, Madam Speaker, we also want to commend that a financial burden on the country as Zambia would be required to pay subscription fees on the protocol. The committee, therefore, Madam Speaker, was that the government or the some of which are not relevant and some of which are not beneficial to the country, and consider withdrawing from such protocols which are not beneficial to the country. Madam Speaker, these are the only two issues that I wanted to highlight with for having to the mission.
Very much. I've seen one indication, Honorable Member for Lunte, but please, if you can debate in 4 minutes, please, because we are behind time. The Honorable.
Thank you so much, Madam. My honorable colleague, I would like to appreciate you for moving the report. My honorable brother there. But let me also thank the committee for recommending the ratification, which I fully support. Madam Speaker, I support this ratification because of the importance of statistics. And considering that you've just given me 4 minutes, I'm unable to flow in the manner in which I dedicated my mind to do. So I'll just jump straight to indicating why I think it's very important to have better information with regards to statistics. Madam GDP, currency rates, inflation, and so on. Now consider the pronouncements about GDP. Lately, it has been projection, reprojection, regretting upon regretting. It has been unfortunate. The reason is failure to use in we are using reliable way. Madam Speaker, if you look at even the movement in the exchange rate, for example, today we are talking about a supplementary budget, basically based on failure by UPND government to the movement of the dollar. It is not me. And contribution, wow, they keep quiet. The dollar movement coming to this house asking for a supplementary budget. This is why I'm saying these statistics are important, but the mathematics show a year like 20 bring 2 supplementary budgets. The government on their behalf. So I really want to support that we bring that to this country in terms of generation of statistics, reporting of statistics, and deployment of statistics, Madam. GDP, the exchange rates will tell you something different. The price of commodities, price of services, they'll just tell you things which are completely off. So
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Allow me to begin by expressing my sincere gratitude to the committee for its favorable consideration of the proposal to ratify the Southern African Development Community SADC Protocol on statistics. The SADC statistics was established to create a harmonized framework for practices inconsistency, stability, and varying statistical methodology. The protocol aims to ensure that member states produce timely, accurate, and comparable data. I have noted the committee that there is limited capacity in departments and I wish to inform the House that the Ministry is supporting the broadly defined statistical capacity building program provided in the second National of Statistics, whose implementation is in the 8th National Development Plan. Madam Speaker and parliamentary colleagues, I also wish to prioritize capacity and public officers with delay. Committed to reviewing progress. Zambia year 2018 has not fully reformed in line with provisions of the Act. I would like to indicate that the new governing body of the agency, Board of Directors, was put in place last November 2024, and will ensure that ZAMSTAT is fully reformed in line with the Statistics Act number 13 of the year 2018, so that it is better able to perform its functions to meet the demands of the protocol once ratified. My ministry will provide necessary oversight and monitor this while keeping an eye on the regional developments in statistics to ensure that the agency strengthens and reclaims its position in the region as a leader in the innovative production of official statistics. Madam Speaker, with regards to the observations of the committee, that ratifying the protocol will place a financial burden on the country, as Zambia will be required to pay subscription fees, which may put a strain on the already stressed treasury. I wish to state that the benefits of ratifying the protocol by far outweigh the cost that is associated with subscription fees, as this will strengthen ZAMSTAT's ability to effectively execute its mandate as coordinator of the national statistical system, that is capacity building at national supported by regional collaborations. Madam Speaker, further, regarding inadequate funding to the Zambia Statistics Agency, which may affect the attainment of the objectives of the protocol, especially that the National Statistical System, NSS, is being coordinated by ZAMSTATs. I wish to take this opportunity to inform the House that the Ministry has taken steps to increase funding to the agency through funding initiatives and programs such as SADC Regional Statistics Project. I therefore strongly support the need to restructure the funding of the agency so that a separate head of expenditure is created, which shall only be exclusive to ZAMSTATs, and have the allocation increased. Madam Speaker, as I conclude, I urge the House to support the ratification of the protocol, as this has the potential to enhance regional trade among member states of the SADC. Madam Speaker, I thank you.
Thank you very much. The Honorable Member for Mwandi, winding up debate. 2 minutes.
Madam Speaker, thank you so very much. I would love to thank the seconder of the motion and also what is brought out in regards to harmonization of existing laws and also the payments of subscription that have been ably tackled by the Acting Minister of Finance. I would also love to thank the Honorable Member for Lunte in absentia for supporting the report while less politicizing it. With that being said, Madam Speaker, thank you so very much.
I put the question. The question is that this House adopts the report of the Committee on National Economy, Trade and Labour Matters on the ratification of the Southern African Development Community Protocol on Statistics for the 4th session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 7th November 2024. As many as of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary, I say no. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. The clerk will now read the orders of the day.
The Health Professions Bill, National Assembly Bill number 11 of 2024, committee stage.
I now consolidate orders 1 and 2, and the House will now resolve into committee.
The Health Professions Bill, National Assembly Bill number 11 of 2024. Clause 1, short title, any debate and objection. Clause 1 is agreed to. Clause 2, interpretation, any debate and objection. The question is that Clause 2 stands part of the bill. The Honorable Minister of Health.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. I beg to move that Clause 2 be amended with words as circulated.
The question is that Clause 2 be amended with words as circulated. Any debate and objection? Amendment is agreed to. Clause 2 as amended. Any further debate? I put the question. The question is that Clause 2 as amended stands part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Clause 2 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 3, continuation of Health Professions Council of Zambia. Any debate and objection? Clause 3 is agreed to. Clause 4, functions of council. Any debate and objection? Clause 4 is agreed to. Clause 5, constitution of board. Any debate and objection? The question is that Clause 5 stands part of the bill. The Honorable Minister of Health.
Madam Chairperson, I beg to move that Clause 5 be amended with the words as circulated.
The question is that Clause 5 be amended with words as circulated. Any debate, any objection? Amendment is agreed to. Clause 5 as amended. Any further debate? I put the question. The question is that Clause 5 as amended stands part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Clause 5 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 6, functions of the board. Any debate and objection? The question is that Clause 6 stands part of the bill. The Honorable Minister of Health.
Madam Chairperson, I beg to move that Clause 6 be amended with the words as circulated.
The question is that Clause 6 be amended with words as circulated. Any debate and objection? Amendment is agreed to. Clause 6 as amended. Any further debate? I put the question. The question is that Clause 6 as amended stands part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Clause 6 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 7, Registrar, Secretary and other staff. Any debate and objection? The question is that Clause 7 stands part of the bill. The Honorable Minister of Health.
Chairperson, I beg to move that Clause 7 be amended with the words as circulated.
The question is that Clause 7 be amended with words as circulated. Any debate, any objection? Amendment is agreed to. Clause 7 as amended. Any further debate? I put the question. The question is that Clause 7 as amended stands part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Clause 7 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 8, prohibition of practicing without registration. Any debate? Any objection? Clause 8 is agreed to. Clause 9, application for provisional registration certificate. Any debate? Any objection? The question is that Clause 9 stands part of the bill. The Honorable Minister of Health.
Chairperson, I beg to move that Clause 9 be amended with words as circulated.
The question is that Clause 9 be amended with words as circulated. Any debate and objection? Amendment is agreed to. Clause 9 as amended. Any further debate? I put the question. The question is that Clause 9 as amended stands part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Clause 9 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 10, temporary registration. Any debate and objection? Clause 10 is agreed to. Clause 11, application for full certificate of registration. Any debate and objection? Clause 11 is agreed to. Clause 12, specialist registration. Any debate and objection? Clause 12 is agreed to. Clause 13, registration for limited period. Any debate and objection? Clause 13 is agreed to. Clause 14, determination of application for registration as health practitioner. Any debate and objection? Clause 14 is agreed to. Clause 15, disqualification from registration as health practitioner. Any debate and objection? Clause 15 is agreed to. Clause 16, change of particulars. Any debate and objection? Clause 16 is agreed to. Clause 17, suspension or cancellation of registration. Any debate and objection? Clause 17 is agreed to. Clause 18, re-registration. Any debate and objection? Clause 18 is agreed to. Clause 19, prohibition of practice without practicing certificate. Any debate and objection? Clause 19 is agreed to. Clause 20, practicing certificate. Any debate and objection? Clause 20 is agreed to. Clause 21, display of practicing certificate. Any debate and objection? Clause 21 is agreed to. Clause 22, renewal of practicing certificate. Any debate and objection? Clause 22 is agreed to. Clause 23, suspension and cancellation of practicing certificate. Any debate and objection? Clause 23 is agreed to. Clause 24, maintenance of non-practicing health practitioner on register. Any debate and objection? Clause 24 is agreed to. Clause 25, prohibition of transfer of certificate of registration or practicing certificate. Any debate and objection? Clause 25 is agreed to. Clause 26, duplicate practicing certificate or certificate of registration. Any debate and objection? Clause 26 is agreed to. Clause 27, surrender of cancelled certificate of registration or practicing certificate. Any debate and objection? Clause 27 is agreed to. Clause 28, offences regarding registered health practitioners. Any debate and objection? Clause 28 is agreed to. Clause 29, Administration of licensure examination. Any debate and objection? Clause 29 is agreed to. Clause 30, application of licensure examination. Any debate and objection? Clause 30 is agreed to. Clause 31, application for approval as continuous professional development provider. Any debate and objection? Clause 31 is agreed to. Clause 32, renewal of certificate of approval for continuous professional development provider. Any debate and objection? Clause 32 is agreed to. Clause 33, variation of certificate approval. Any debate and objection? Clause 33 is agreed to. Clause 34, surrender of certificate of approval. Any debate and objection? Clause 34 is agreed to. Clause 35, transfer of certificate of approval. Any debate and objection? Clause 35 is agreed to. Clause 36, suspension or cancellation of certificate of approval. Any debate and objection? Clause 36 is agreed to. Clause 37, continuous professional development. Any debate and objection? Clause 37 is agreed to. Clause 38, prohibition of operating health facility without license. Any debate and objection? Clause 38 is agreed to. Clause 39, classes and levels of health facilities. Any debate and objection? Clause 39 is agreed to. Clause 40, application for license to operate health facility. Any debate and objection? Clause 40 is agreed to. Clause 41, grant of license. Any debate and objection? Clause 41 is agreed to. Clause 42, rejection of application. Any debate and objection? Clause 2 is agreed to. Clause 43, display of license. Any debate and objection? Clause 43 is agreed to. Clause 44, variation of license. Any debate and objection? Clause 44 is agreed to. Clause 45, surrender of license. Any debate and objection? Clause 45 is agreed to. Clause 46, transfer of license. Any debate and objection? Clause 46 is agreed to. Clause 47, renewal of license. Any debate and objection? Clause 47 is agreed to. Clause 48, suspension or revocation of license. Any debate and objection? Clause 48 is agreed to. Clause 49, immediate closure of health facility. Any debate and objection? The question is that Clause 49 stands part of the bill. The Honorable Minister of Health.
Chairperson, I beg to move that Clause 49 be amended with words as circulated.
The question is that Clause 49 be amended with words as circulated. Any debate and objection? Amendment is agreed to. Clause 49 as amended. Any further debate? I put the question. The question is that Clause 49 as amended stands part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Clause 49 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 50, prohibition of treatment or diagnosis without registered health practitioner. Any debate and objection? Clause 50 is agreed to. Clause 51, publication of licensed health facility. Any debate and objection? Clause 51 is agreed to. Clause 52, offenses relating to health facility. Any debate and objection? Clause 52 is agreed to. Clause 53, prohibition of offering health care service without accreditation. Any debate and objection? Clause 53 is agreed to. Clause 54, application for accreditation of healthcare service. Any debate and objection? Clause 54 is agreed to. Clause 55, display of certificate of accreditation. Any debate and objection? Clause 55 is agreed to. Clause 56, renewal of accreditation. Any debate and objection? Clause 56 is agreed to. Clause 57, suspension or revocation of accreditation. Any debate and objection? Clause 57 is agreed to. Clause 58, prohibition from offering internship without internship site certificate. Any debate and objection? Clause 58 is agreed to. Clause 59, application for internship site certificate. Any debate and objection? Clause 59 is agreed to. Clause 50, renewal of internship site certificate. Any debate and objection? The question is that Clause 60 stands part of the bill. The Honorable Minister of Health.
Chairperson, I beg to move that Clause 60 be amended with the words as circulated.
Okay. The question is that Clause 60 be amended with words as circulated. Any debate and objection? Amendment is agreed to. Clause 60 as amended. Any further debate? I put the question. The question is that Clause 60 as amended stands part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Clause 60 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 61, variation of internship site certificate. Any debate and objection? The question is that Clause 61 stands part of the bill. The Honorable Minister of Health.
Chairperson, I beg to move that Clause 61 be amended with the words as circulated.
The question is that Clause 61 be amended with words as circulated. Any debate and objection? Amendment is agreed to. Clause 61 as amended. Any further debate? I put the question. The question is that Clause 61 as amended stands part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Clause 61 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Clause 62, surrender of internship site certificate. Any debate and objection? The question is that Clause 62 stands part of the bill. The Honorable Minister of Health.
Chairperson, I beg to move that Clause 62 be amended with the words as circulated.
The question is that Clause 62 be amended with words as circulated. Any debate and objection? Amendment is agreed to. Clause 62 as amended. Any further debate? I put the question. The question is that Clause 62 as amended stands part of the bill. As many as are of that opinion say aye. Of the contrary say no. The ayes have it. The question is resolved in the affirmative. Clause 62 as amended is ordered to stand part of the bill. Time up.
Yes.
But now, as the time is 18:25, I interrupt business and report progress to the House. Madam Speaker, I have to report to the House that the Committee of the whole House has made progress on the Health Professions Bill, National Assembly Bill number 11 of 2024, and ask leave to sit again.
Day of consideration. What is this now? When day of next, when is the committee supposed to resume? Day of resumption of committee work?
Madam Speaker, tomorrow, the 5th.
Thank you.
Today is the 5th, yes.
Committee work to resume tomorrow, the 5th of December 2024. As the time is 18:25 hours, I interrupt the proceedings and business stands adjourned. Day for resumption of business. Oh, that's where it is.
Tomorrow, Madam Speaker.
Business to resume tomorrow. Okay, yeah. As no notice of an item for debate on the motion of adjournment of the House has been received, I put the question. The question is that the House do now adjourn. Any debate? Any objection? The question is agreed to. The House is now adjourned.
Still being with us on Parliamentary television. The House has just adjourned until tomorrow at 14:30 hours. We go straight and look at business that has been considered on the floor of the House from the time business resumed at 14:30. Madam Speaker did make some announcements. Madam Speaker informed the House that she had received communication to the effect that in the absence of her Honour the Vice President, who is attending to other government business, the Minister of Agriculture, Honorable Ruben Arapiri Mutolo MP, has been appointed acting leader of government business in the House from today, Wednesday, 4th December 2024, until further notice. In the other announcement, Madam Speaker recognized the presence in the Speaker's gallery of 5 officials from the National Biosafety Authority. Madam Speaker said that the officials came for a sensitization meeting with presiding officers and other stakeholders on biosafety in Zambia. Madam Speaker, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, received the guests and warmly welcomed them to the National Assembly. In the last announcement, Madam Speaker recognized the presence in the public gallery of pupils and teachers from Arakan Girls Secondary School in Lusaka District. Madam Speaker, on behalf of the National Assembly of Zambia, warmly welcomed the visitors to the National Assembly. After those 3 announcements, there were 2 ministerial statements. The first one was on the status of water supply and sanitation interventions in response to the drought mitigation and cholera elimination funds. This was presented by Honorable Collins Nzovu MP. The Minister began by providing an update on the interventions that the Ministry is undertaking to ensure that government navigates these challenging times as they strive to meet the aspirations of universal access to clean and safe drinking water and adequate sensitization for all. The statement forecast on implementation of a drought response plan. And the Minister started by providing regular updates on how the Ministry is delivering on the food security and the drought response plan. He said that the Ministry has completed major rehabilitation works on 3 dams. These are Chitindi in North Province, Kawombwa in the Western Province, and Amosi in Eastern Province. He said that these will be commissioned by the end of December 2024. The minister did say that the ministry has also engaged contractors to drill a total of 160 commercial boreholes in drought-prone provinces of Lusaka, Central, Southern, and Eastern and Western at a cost of 75 million kwacha. The minister further said that the ministry has also awarded 6 contracts for the construction of sanitation facilities in selected public institutions in cholera-prone areas across the country at a cost of 36 million kwacha. In regards to the status of ongoing infrastructure projects, the minister said the ministry has been undertaking key infrastructure projects in selected utilities, and reported that significant progress has been made on these water infrastructure projects. And in regards to government supporting commercial utility to mitigate water stress, the Minister of Water Development and Sanitation said that the ministry has been taking proactive measures to ensure that people will continue to receive water supply and sanitation services. He said a total of 55 million kwacha, that is 5 million kwacha to each of the 11 commercial utilities, has been disbursed to implement additional drought and cholera elimination interventions. In regards to CDF supporting water projects in various constituencies, the minister did say that following the directive by the President of Zambia, Dr. Hakainde Hichilema, that priority should be placed on improving water and sanitation services delivery in communities. The commercial utilities have been engaging communities and the local authorities to prioritize water supply and sanitation projects. The Minister of Water Development and Sanitation appealed to members of Parliament from Central, Muchinga and the northern provinces to support the use of CDF for water supply and sanitation projects in their areas. He reiterated the ministry's commitment to navigating the challenges of the drought and also prevent the outbreak of waterborne diseases. And so this is the ministerial statement that was delivered by the Minister of Water Development and Sanitation. Another ministerial statement was on the status and progress of Zambia's industrial development agenda. This was presented by Honorable Chipoka Mulenga MP, who is the Minister of Commerce, Trade and Industry. The minister said that government will continue to implement reforms aimed at bettering the investment climate. One such reform is the introduction of the online application for investment licenses, which has made it easier for investors to acquire their investment licenses. He said the development of special economic zones in various forms, such as multi-facility economic zones, industrial parks and trade zones, has been prioritized as channel to advance industrialization, particularly in rural areas. The minister said the government will continue with investment promotion efforts to attract both local and foreign investors, providing applicable fiscal incentives and continue to benchmark with neighboring countries to ensure that they remain competitive. Further, in efforts to promote industrialization, the minister said government has been promoting joint ventures and partnerships to assist in unlocking affordable foreign capital and technology transfer. The minister said that despite the country going through a number of challenges occasioned by the worst drought in history, the country continues to witness continued confidence in the economy as reflected by increased investments in the expansion of existing projects from which job creation is attained. The minister highlighted some key projects that have recently been commissioned and those in pipeline and expected to be completed next year. These include Zambia-China Mlongoshi Textiles Joint Venture Limited, United Capital Fertilizer Expansion Project, Copper Wires and Cable Manufacturing, Fertilizer Plant by Blooming Chemical Industry, Cement Production by Zambia-China Dejin, and electric vehicle batteries. The minister said that the Ministry of Commerce, Trade and Industry will continue to facilitate these investments and continue to improve the business environment. He further said that the ministry will continue to promote the development of special economic zones in all 10 provinces as a means of advancing industrialization. promoting rural development, creating jobs, promoting exports, and overall economic growth. And so those are the two ministerial statements that were delivered on the floor of the House. After those ministerial statements, the House went on to consider questions for oral answer under Standing Order 80, and I will look at some of the questions. Question number 148 came from Milanzi Member of Parliament, Ms. Melisiana Piri. He directed his question to the Minister of Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development. She wanted to find out whether the government has any plans to rehabilitate Katete Kampande Chadiza Road, which is in a deplorable state, and the acting minister did say that government has plans. If so, when the plans will be implemented, the acting minister responded that plans will be implemented once Treasury secures the required fund. Another question came from Mpika Member of Parliament, Mr. Francis Kapyanga, and he directed his question to the Minister of Tourism. He wanted to find out whether the government has any plans to construct an electric fence around Nabwalia Chiefdom in Mpika district to mitigate human-animal conflict. And the minister did say that government does not have any plans. In the other part of the question, the Member of Parliament from Mpika wanted to find out if so when the plans will be implemented. And the Minister of Tourism said he indicated procurement process is underway. And so those are just some of the questions that have been considered on the floor of the House today. After consideration of those questions, Mwandi Member of Parliament, Ms. Sibeso Sefulo, moved a motion urging the House to adopt the report of the Committee on National Economy, Trade and Labour Matters on the ratification of the Southern African Development Community Protocol on Statistics for the 4th session of the 13th National Assembly, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 7th November 2024. This motion was seconded by Ron Member of Parliament, Mr. Joel Chubuyende. When a question was put, this motion was adopted. And at the time business was being suspended, the House was considering the Health Professions Bill, National Assembly Bill number 11 of 2024, which was being considered in committee. And so this is business that has been considered on the floor of the House today, Wednesday, 4th December 2024. From all of us here, it's goodbye. Keep watching Parliament Television and have a blessed evening.